Previously,
I made it to memory. It's like it's locked in.
in the dungeon of the Mad Mage, the party had defeated the bullywug assassin Torbit, destroying the last vestiges of Yurk, the Lord of Fetid Obliteration's reign of terror. Torbit's body was warped, mutated by the dark energies he had been given dominion over and failed to control. He wore on his person several strange snake bone fetishes, but more alarming still was the kukri of solid black plunged into his back. When Ezrah magically identified the blade, the party found it to be a powerful weapon, though one whose power might come with a catch. The party then discussed
I don't recall that part.
what their next step would be. The door to the inner sanctum of the temple was in sight, but Bones could find no obvious way inside. To make matters worse, the party had no idea what might lie in store for them within, and the battles with Yurk and Torbit had sapped their resources. Ultimately, they decided they should be cautious. Yurk, Torbit, and Zartem were dead, the immediate threats handled. They would rest and return prepared. The party exited the temple with Torbit's body in tow, returning to the awaiting new generation. The bullywugs solemnly took the assassin's body, though they removed the fetishes and returned them to the party, stating they held an evil power akin to the Sethian scourges themselves. The party and the new generation then returned to the Black Tongue's territory. News of the defeat of Yurk and his lieutenants spread like wildfire, and the Black Tongue tribe began to openly celebrate their liberation. Torbit was given a hero's funeral, and it was as if the past year of terror was suddenly washed away from the tribe. The party faded briefly with their allies, but knew that there were still yet more dangers within the swamp, and elsewhere besides. Dangers that would not wait patiently on them. So, the party excused themselves and rested, binding their wounds and restoring their energy before heading back to the temple of the Vrail Olo, intent on discovering a method of defeating the Sethian scourges. Their arrival at the temple was met with no fanfare, and as they sought a way through the door into the inner sanctum, they found their efforts fruitless. There was a missing fang in a statue that seemed of interest, but the party could not find a replacement or figure out how to open the door. Deciding to take a different approach, Matashtai headed outside and onto the roof of the temple, hoping to find a way in through the decay or crumbling of the structure itself. And he succeeded in doing just that, finding a dark opening above the sanctum itself. After reporting to the rest of the party, the group made their way onto the roof of the temple. Matashtai dropped a torch into the darkness only to find that something blocked its passage. Ashes joined the monk, and after they both were unable to pass through it, the Lycan decided to randomly hold the Yuan-Ti holy symbol they had found in Yurk's hoard down to the darkness, causing it to vanish, and the two of them to drop within.
But I didn't expect it to work.
Ashes managed to catch himself at the last moment, and Matashtai, being a fucking monk, landed gracefully inside, unharmed. They had made their way into the inner sanctum, and after a few brief moments, the entire party was able to make their way down. There they found a black candle upon an altar and a winged serpent statue with strange holes carved into its head. Ezrah immediately began to incant, hoping to detect any foul magics that might accost the party, but curiosity got the better of his allies. They began to investigate the statue and the altar, eventually triggering some sort of mechanism or spell. Appearing out of nowhere came two serpentine abominations. They immediately attacked, and the party defended themselves. But after the battle with Yurk, with Torbit, after Xanathar, after the many battles the party had faced, these two guardian snakes were of little threat. Swiftly dispatched, the party once more found themselves alone within the temple. Their investigations of the altar and the statue proved to have little insight into what they would need to do next. Ultimately, their next move came from the fetishes they had taken off of Torbit's corpse. While they had rested, Ezrah had determined that the objects were powerful relics, probably designed to help defeat the Sethian scourges. Bones proffered that perhaps these were the objects that their Yuan-Ti counterparts had been missing when they had fought Hexakali in the memory fragment. He suggested they return once more to the memory, this time armed with what had been missing, to see if the memory righted itself or otherwise changed. Perhaps it would show them new information. So, after attuning to the fetishes, the party made their way back to the memory fragment and once again hurled themselves into the past. But this time, as their consciousness awoke within the Vrail, they did not feel weak or exhausted. They felt strong, whole, prepared. On this day, Hexakali would fall. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like, commenting, or subscribing. It really helps me out. If you'd like to see me live, head over to my Twitch at twitch.tv/thedistanthorizon.